all of that stuff happens for the first time on a day like today. And so then when we come out and Faith misses, one or two early layups, and, I think for us today, we came out and Lakota hit the first two shots of the game, puts us up, with a couple of threes. Like Kaylin did a really outstanding job finding her on the second one. For us, I think there was a moment of just relaxing a little bit, and this is a group that's pretty talented offensively, and we try to always reiterate that we don't want to create offensive momentum that just kind of carries back into our defense. We want to create defensive momentum that carries forward into our offense. So all of a sudden, I almost hated that you made those first two. You can keep making them, okay? But what we don't have the experience with one another is that once those first two go down, just still the value of the very next defensive possession. So all of a sudden there was just a little bit of a relaxing, all of a sudden we're kind of throwing shots up instead of really making sure that we're finishing them, even when they're in that red zone down there, high percentage shots at the rim. And so it went from being kind of a game that was our tempo to more possession basketball for the majority of the first half, and so that's what we kind of got in the score. And at halftime, we talked more about kind of what our defensive adjustments needed to be, because our defensive things were that much more glaring because of our lack of finishing good high percentage shots in the first half. But I was telling the girls in the locker room just now, I would much rather have a scenario like today to where we have to make some real game time adjustments and really correct some things than to kind of blow through this and not really be in a scenario yet that we're in game-like circumstances. So that part of it for me was very good today. I'm looking forward. This will be the first box score and the first analytics that we can really look at from a true 40-minute game. So a lot of good things coming out from today. I would have loved to have played some of our new freshmen a little bit more down the stretch in the third and fourth quarter, but I thought the game turned completely when Jordy came back in. We kind of sat her a little more than we'd like to in the first half because of foul trouble. She got two quick ones. But when Jordy Gilbert came back in with about 6 minutes to go in the third quarter, I thought she set the tone defensively for us that carried us through the rest of the game, and that's exactly what we needed. So really happy with our first effort, and absolutely understand that there's some things that we've got to polish. Turnovers have to decrease, free throws have to increase for us, but just good to get the first one out of the way and let this group experience game time together for the first time.
Coach, it kind of looked like you talked about with Lakota making those first two threes and KK shooting the ball from the mid-range, that outside shot kind of helped Maria get going inside.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's kind of how it's going to be this season with your offense?
I think it has to be, and I don't think that's something that we've been able to have the luxury of. This last year, by the time we got to the end of conference season, we really knew that we were going to have to rely a lot we were going to have to play a lot of possession basketball because we only had 7 players, due to injuries and everything. And Faith and Maria are difficult matchups in the positions that they play for other teams that we play. So we created a couple of offenses that were really going to get them a lot of touches and a lot of looks. Kaylin has been capable of doing what she's doing tonight for a long time, but when she was playing 38 minutes a game last year, today those breathers are, I think she was 31, is what we did today, and those are just key breathers. But Kaylin doesn't have to even take the most shots when she's out there right now. Players like, Lakota and Hillary Hurst and other players that can come in and do that. So what you said and what you asked was the outside shot kind of softens things up on the inside, and I think that they did, but then we didn't pound it in and finish what we had softened up. So we kind of just threw some things up there. We're hoping to get some calls instead of making sure that we got some calls. And now all of a sudden we found ourselves where we're relying on our outside because we're not attacking the rim in an effective way. To miss a point-blank layup or a point-blank offensive rebound, it might as well be a turnover. We're turning and we're going the other way, and it's a little deflating that you have a shot that's that close and high percentage. So, but at the end of the day, we're still 0-0, and the season hasn't even started, and we're figuring some of those things out right now.
As far as KK's game today, 22 shots total for 25 points. Do you want her taking that many shots? If it was up to you in the perfect world, how many shots would KK kind of?
I think the game and the opponent really dictates that. I think today they didn't have anyone that could really match up with Kaylin. And especially when we got more into the second half and it became more of a full court game, that's really where Kaylin shines. And Lakota does too, but we're kind of getting the ring rust off Lakota from this redshirt year a little bit. I think that's one of the things that I'm excited to. I'm excited to have this as our first day out because I think Kaylin is representative of the number of shots she took, that she's coming off of a year where she was really effective and she's a preseason all-conference player. I think we give Lakota, a handful more games and she's gonna be right there with Kaylin to where we can they can play off of each other a lot and somebody doesn't have to constantly have the ball in their hands, but we can kind of play them as both combos in that scenario. So when you take 22 shots but you shoot 50% from the field, I don't have a problem with any player shooting the ball that many times. Now, to get her 25 points, if it took her 30 shots to do that, that's something else that we need to talk about. We probably need to share the ball a little bit, but when you're shooting, the pretty thing about Kaylin's today, she did it from the three-point line, she did it from the rim, and she did it from the mid-range finally towards the end of the game. And I thought she had a really pretty balance on all of the things that she was doing, and I know Lakota's capable of doing the same thing. So.
I just have a question for Lakota. First game out there since leaving OSU and being a redshirt. How'd you feel? What'd you think?
At first, I knew I was going to be rusty, and I felt a little, I felt kind of flustered. I was really nervous, but I think those first two shots, I think I needed to hit those first two, and it felt good to hit them.
Lakota, playing with KK, you guys have similar games as the way you guys can create your own shot. Just talk about what she does for you playing across from her.
Well, yeah, I think we do have similar games. She can drive and create and then shoot step back threes, and I think that we're both pretty hard to guard in practice. I just discovered this year that we've been playing well together. We feed off of each other, so I think when we start getting deeper into the season, that I think we're going to be really tough to guard, both of us. And I think she brings a lot of leadership and maturity.
Coach, as far as health goes, obviously Maria Martinez didn't play today and Jordan Doyle didn't either. So what's the outlook for those two going into your road trip?
We're not quite sure yet on both of those girls. We know it's coming. We know it's coming, and if it was an exact science, we would have nailed it down already. Dorka is kind of in that same mix, and what she brings us is an outside shooter in that 4 position, because I think both Mia or Dorka, they give us that additional rotation with Maria, Faith, and Mo that kind of keeps those scoring 4 positions, viable for us and just keeps us fresh. I think we'll probably end up playing Jordy even, maybe a little bit in that 4 position to kind of keep Faith fresh from time to time.